What's up, guys? Kevin Gandy here. Super excited for another day of Homeschool for the Soul. And we have a special guest with us, Tyrone. And Tyrone, I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself. So why don't you tell us kind of who you are, what you do on a daily basis, and what you've been up to.
Well, I am a musician by trade, also educator, so performance and education, but all music related. I still have a few students that I'm doing teaching with through Zoom. Not performing anymore, doing some studio work. But yeah, I went to APU. Soon after that, did some traveling, came back to the Glendora area, and I've been part of the music ministry at Real Life LA since the beginning in 2016. Yeah.
Well, hey, Tyrone, today I wanted to invite you to have a conversation about this idea of something we've been kind of wrestling with here at Real Life, this idea of mask. I know, when we think about masks, this is kind of a new thing that we've been having to sort of deal with in our culture today, where all of a sudden, the government is telling us we have to wear a mask. So when we go out to Walmart or go to Target or, go pick up our groceries, we're all wearing masks, which I know a lot of people have been growing pretty anxious about, just because, not only do they have to wear a mask, but there have been people, getting nervous about some of the people that they see wearing masks, because masks, they hide our identity. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think has been a major issue with this mask issue that we've been given by the government?
Yeah, it's strange. I know I noticed being like in the grocery store or like Target, the two places open now. It's, I'm realizing how much facial expression, like how much nonverbal communication I did with strangers, and when someone would kind of give you a shocking look, I tend to get shocking looks when I come around the frozen food section and someone looks up at me. It's not who they're expecting to see. Very abnormal. I know that. So usually I'm ready to just give a big smile and just kind of put people at ease, especially in this area.
It's not every day that you see someone with like giant dreads and super tall, just like coming around the corner. So
yeah, if this was Miami, Florida or something like that, then it might be like, oh, okay, there's that guy from the Caribbean. But here it's I still see that surprising look. So I know typically I just give the big smile and start a conversation or something. But with that mask going up to your eyes, you're kind of left with, you either say something or you kind of do the squinty eyes, trying to show that you're smiling. But I think there's definitely something there, just with that whole expression on our faces, and just that communication that we have between strangers. It's been interesting. It's been interesting for sure.
well, yeah, dare we say, some people have been really impacted by this. The idea of, we're hearing more and more stories of, Asian Americans who are getting sort of attacked out in public by people who are been very willing and open about, passing blame and, verbally attacking people just because of their skin color or their race. Because, those people, it's easy to kind of hide behind your mask and then pass blame for a situation on someone else. And I think that this kind of barrier is actually causing a lot of tensions to rise. I was thinking about the other day, Tyrone, I'll be interested to know what your thoughts are about this, but, when I went off to college, I grew up in North Carolina. So, and when you grew up in the rural South, you have kind of a very boxed in sort of view of the world. And so I went off to college up at Marquette. I went, 1,000 miles away, went up to the north, was in a bigger city. Suddenly I saw people who were homeless for the first time. And I, was around a lot of people that weren't like me, a lot of inner city dwellers and a lot of people of color. And that was a big culture shock for me. And I'll never forget, one day I was sitting in class, one of my professors said, a lot of times we as Americans have blinders on, and we really have to take off our blinders in order to really see people for who they are. And so, I wonder what, what you might think about that. Is there an expectation for us as Christians when it comes to taking off our blinders?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I know for a certain group of people, it could be a challenge if you're in a highly non-segregated place. California, we're kind of a melting pot, but we do have these pockets of just one either social status or income level and things like that. It can be pretty clear who is where. Um, and so like I know as Christians we should be the first ones to look past all of that and to see our brothers and our sisters as exactly the same. So yeah, that of scripture that comes to mind that I just want to share is Philippians 2. um, so there's any encouragement in Christ, any comfort from love, any participation in the Spirit, any affection and sympathy, complete my joy by being of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. So I think that definitely kind of just hits it on the head right there.
Yeah, it's almost like, in the season of where we live today, no matter where we may find ourselves in the world, we have to put on our mask because it's a safety thing, but we have to take off our blinders. And we
Sure.
totally can put on our mask, but remove the blinders, and really see people, and imagine who they might be behind that mask. Um, and I think that's an important thing. I mean, like you said, the words of scriptures are very clear that we should actually put the needs of others above our own. Some of us, might be quick to pass blame on other people. Some of us may just be quick to judge off a Facebook comment that we see, or somebody says something and we're just in a heightened tension, and we're quick to respond sometimes with not our best,
Mhm.
words. And so, yeah, I was also thinking this, when we look at, like an iceberg, for instance, like what you see above the waterline is literally just a little chunk of ice, but what you don't see below the water is that this entire, like, massive glob of ice that can take out an entire ship. um, that's often the case in our lives. What people allow us to see, or what we see, above the mask, literally is just like a little piece of the iceberg. We don't get to see people's baggage, or what their identity, or who they are, or anything about their family or their background or education or any of that. So
I think one of my favorite things to do around town is just to talk to people, because I could um, I could be guilty of the same thing. You look at somebody and assume, oh, born and raised here, this is their life, blah 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 blah. And in the same way, people could be looking at me like, okay, this guy, wears hemp socks and just eats granola all day and plays his guitar and doesn't trust the government and all and everything like that. Um, and then if you knew my background and everything, it is very different than what you might think from my appearance, and my family background and everything like that. So it's I always enjoy striking up conversations with people, um, and just kind of digging in a little bit, past the chit chat and everything like that we're all talking about, but kind of just going in and finding out about things about people that could be just so shocking, and just hearing people's stories. And so yeah, I definitely enjoy the even when there's not like a clear diversity, like the opportunities are always there.
Well, Tyrone, I think we have some good things to think through for this week in terms of mask and blinders, but hopefully we can begin to see people more like Jesus. And I appreciate your insight today.
Oh, of course, happy to help.
Well, all right. Enjoy your week, guys. We will see you again later. Bye, Tyrone.